The film starts with Captain Brodie Torrance in Singapore, calling his daughter Daniela as he intends to arrive home in Honolulu to spend time with her for the holiday. Brodie, a former RAF pilot, is flying Trailblazer Airlines Flight 119, and he arrives to meet his co-pilot, Samuel Delhi, who informs Brodie that they are going to fly through a storm. Bonnie, the chief flight attendant, informs Brodie that he is needed to meet Officer Shellback. The officer informs Brodie that they are transporting a killer/former French Foreign Legion soldier named Louis Gaspar. As the flight gets ready for takeoff, we see other guests, such as young social media influencers and a snooty businessman. While in the air, Brodie and Delhi talk, with Brodie mentioning how his wife had passed years earlier. As they pass over the South China Sea, the plane encounters heavy turbulence when it passes through the storm. The storm gets worse, leading to the plane suffering damage, and Brodie injures his head in the commotion. A stewardess is killed, and Shellback also dies after being slammed around when the plane starts going down. Brodie and Delhi have to manage control without comms and radar, bringing it to a safer balance. Realizing the damages are too heavy, they have to make an emergency landing. The pilots find an island and make a rough landing. Once everything settles, Brodie has the passengers get out of the plane. He and Delhi learn they are on the Holo Island. In New York City, at Trailblazers HQ, the board of directors is met by their crisis manager, Scarsdale, to try and locate the plane and passengers. Brodie tries to keep Louis away and secured from the other passengers due to his violent history. Brodie works with Delhi and Bonnie to keep the passengers calm and to find a way to call for help. Delhi tells Brodie that Holo is operated by violent separatists, meaning they risk putting everyone in danger the longer they are there. The rebels, led by Datu Junmer, catch wind of the plane's crash landing and hope to gain from the passengers. Meanwhile, Brodie goes with Louis into the forest to find a way to contact for help. Back in NYC, Scarsdale and the board review Brodie's history file, featuring a video of an incident where Brodie held an aggressive passenger in a chokehold until he passed out after the man punched Brodie when he tried to calm down an altercation. Scarsdale plans to send a private military team to rescue everyone once the plane is tracked since they know of the threat on the island. In Honolulu, Daniela's aunt informs her of the news that her father's plane went down. Brodie and Louis reach a tower where Brodie manages to contact an agent from Trailblazers who originally doesn't believe him because she claims they have been getting lots of crank calls over the missing flight. Brodie also manages to call Daniela before he is attacked by a rebel. Brodie fights the man until he is able to kill him. Upon further inspection of the building, Brodie and Louis see that the rebels used the area to torture and videotape their victims for ransom money. The two rush back to the plane but find that Junmer and his goons have already made it there. A Korean woman attempts to flee, only for one of the rebels to shoot her. Her husband is then brutally decapitated. The rebels proceed to take everyone else hostage while Brodie and Louis hide. Once the rebels leave, the two subdue a remaining rebel and learn that Junmer is taking everyone to a nearby village. Brodie and Louis resolve to follow and rescue everyone. As the two head out to the village, Junmer starts forcing the hostages to state their names and home countries for their ransom video. The military team arrives on the island but they find nobody near the plane, only the bodies of Shellback and the stewardess, along with a message from Brodie. Brodie and Louis make it to the village and kill some more rebels before locating and freeing the hostages. Everyone gets boarded onto a bus while Brodie stays behind to let them get out. Junmer and his men beat him and prepare to execute him, but the military team shows up and begins to open fire on the rebels. After the fight, Junmer finds his brother among the dead, driving his cause against the others to become more personal. Everyone makes it back to the plane and boards it. The Trailblazers board argues about having Brodie fly the plane since it is so damaged and could potentially kill everyone on board. Louis joins the military men as they fight the rebels, and Louis chooses to remain on the island since he has no future going back, and he found a bag of ransom money. With most of the rebels dead, Brodie and Delhi make an effort to get the plane moving. Junmer attempts to fire an RPG at the plane, but Brodie lifts it high enough in the air that he kills Junmer by smashing into him with the plane's wheels. Brodie then plans to land at a nearby airstrip in Siasi with the amount of fuel they have left. After a bit of turbulence, Brodie can safely land, causing everyone at HQ to cheer. As the passengers settle down, Brodie sits to call Daniela and let her know he is coming home. This is Movie Breakdown, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.